It's getting warm in this room, isn't it? What's up with that? Sam, you sweating over here?
Is
it always the winter when like the heat's on?
Yeah, this is an airtight building. Horton Group Development. Airtight. All right.
Yeah, no windows.
We've got a Connecticut article here.
We had to. Come
Connecticut.
On. It's not just Connecticut, though. I think that these are really interesting and important conversations.
Yeah, and this talks about all kinds of different states. So maybe your state is on the list. This just happens to be a Channel 3 Connecticut article. Connecticut now considered a top state for people who are moving, and they're talking about in. For once.
It's like, again, last year I think we were the most people were moving out of our state. I mean, literally just 365 days ago. Actually, I feel like it was probably just like 7 months ago.
Last year we were in the top 4.
Even in January we were probably
January again, because the trend, and you can go up on how many walks, you can look all this stuff, howmanywalks.com. That's really talking about how wealth moves around.
Right.
Connecticut's one of the worst states for outbound migration when it comes to wealth. But Connecticut's also been in negative migration mode here for years. And then now all of a sudden this pandemic hits. And last year just alone, we were number 4 for most outbound moves of any state. Well, now when United Van Lines looked at motivations for people who moved between March and August 2020, Connecticut ranked 3rd among states to which those people moved into as it relates to the pandemic. So this top states on this list, percent of moves from state where COVID was a contributing factor.
Well, as a COVID impacted move, yes.
It was like because
they said about 65% of the people moved because of COVID.
Vermont first on the list, 30%. North Dakota 28.6%. Connecticut 20%. Montana, Michigan, Arkansas, Oregon, Massachusetts, Ohio, and Utah round out the top states inbound for COVID impact moves. The top outbound states were, this drives me nuts. The number 1 state is Washington, D.C. Hey, United Van Lines, D.C. is not a state, okay? They're not a state, all right? Washington, D.C. 1, New York, Nevada, Oregon. Wait, they're on the list twice.
Yeah.
Weird.
Very.
Delaware, California, Minnesota, Massachusetts again on the list. So you're seeing people come in and then out. That's weird. Okay. Florida, Washington. The leading reasons for people moving included 1, concerns for personal and family health and well-being. 2, desires to be closer to family.
Of course.
Changes in employment status or work arrangement. The ability to work remotely. That's what's really impacted Connecticut, New York City people coming here. And 4, desires for lifestyle change or improvement of quality of life. You hear that over and over and over again.
I have a client right now that I'm working with that is actually moving from New York to Connecticut. But he used to work in Manhattan. And his job is actually international moving. So like obviously Van Lines is talking so he's moving people in and out of countries residentially. And he's actually right now, he said that usually his October is the slowest, but his October is actually the busiest month even over last year. Like October, like this year, is busier than even any month last year. But he's actually seeing a lot of people moving out of the United States. And that's mostly because people are losing visas because they're no longer working. So they're now having to move out. So again, there's so many. I feel like these moving companies have so much information for us to sort of like gobble up too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, here's a fun fact about the moving companies. So my parents bought the house in Florida last year, or the beginning of this year, whenever they did that. And they still have some stuff up here. They've been up here all summer. So my dad called a U-Haul truck and said, hey, I want to bring the U-Haul truck down to Florida. I have some stuff to bring up. They said, okay, yeah, no problem. They said, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can pay X price and bring it down to Florida and drop it off at the U-Haul, which was like, I forget the exact numbers, but it was 2 or 3 times higher than if you bring the truck back to Connecticut, because U-Haul has seen so many people
they're losing their trucks.
Lose their trucks down south. Now maybe this stat here that we're talking about is going to help Connecticut bring some of these U-Haul trucks back, but they can't get their trucks out of Florida, out of South Carolina. They can't get them back up to Connecticut. And my dad said, no, I'll pay the higher price. I'm leaving it down in Florida. I'm not bringing it back.
So interesting, though. That's like a whole nother side, like
So that's like a weird...
Call me if you don't want to drive your truck back.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Little business.
That's what I'm talking about. Because, I mean, you could drive it back in a day. And if they're charging you 3 times the amount.
Yeah, these moving companies definitely have a lot of data. I was reading an article recently, San Francisco, how they have such lower sales tax this year because there's so many people moving out of the city because now they can work anywhere in California.
Well, yeah, I think that San Francisco has sort of been on the verge of this for a bit, though, anyway. But
I don't think it's a racket. A lot of people moving around making life decisions right now, and you just got to be able to, as an agent, be able to help people with those moves.
Of course. So well, companies are also making a lot of decisions for these people, too. Yeah.
That's true. All right.